In today's video, we're going to examine the portfolio strategy I created on Bitcoin with a dollar cost average price and buying alts and see where it's stacked up now almost 6 months later. So what happens when you buy the top and dollar cost average or jump in on the latest trend of altcoins? So stay tuned.
Every minute you wait, Bitcoin climbs higher. The difference between success and regret? Taking action now. At Drip2BTC, you get more than just Bitcoin. You get growth, security, and peace of mind. Buy Bitcoin, deposit it, and watch your future transform. No risk, no reward. Start earning at Drip2BTC.com.
Hey guys, welcome back. Drip Coach here with Drip and Farm for Poverty, where we don't trust, we verify and operate with integrity and transparency. So about 22 weeks ago, I created this, don't fuck this up, portfolio over on CoinMarketCap, where the goal was to, again, use the 80-20 rule from Raoul Pal of putting 80% into your strong assets that you believe in and 20% into what you want to gamble on. So that'd be your alts. And in this particular portfolio, it's a 50% allocation to Bitcoin, 30% to Solana, and 10% to Stewie, and 5% to Doge, and 5% to Smoky Chicken Fish. Yeah, there we go. And that was with $100 being invested weekly. So on average, I was doing it every Saturday, sometimes on Sunday, sometimes on Monday, but it was once a week. And the cool thing about creating this portfolio on CoinMarketCap, you can go back and add in transactions if you missed them. So this will be a good way just to evaluate how this will perform whenever this cycle ends. I'm kind of in the camp that it's kind of more what Samson Mouse says. It's not really about cycles now. Bitcoin has transitioned into something different that we've never seen before. So if you take out the first cycle, which was extremely highly volatile, insane returns because it was just getting out there and getting traction, you gotta remove that. That's an outlier. Cycle 2 and 3 look similar, and there's no logical rationale that says this will be the same, because it's the first cycle where we have institution, state level adoption, nationwide, all these different things and regulations. So the other ones were driven by retail. This one, I believe, will be driven by institutions, TradFi, things of that nature. So regardless, the whole point of this is like just to take a look at what happens when you dollar cost average. So in this particular portfolio, it's, like I said, been 22 transactions. So that's why you're seeing this profit is actually down $69. The total of 2,200 is what went into this. So actually not bad over time, especially when you go back and look that it started on December 1st, which is around here. It's around the 97, 96K range. So not far cry from the top, but that also means I was buying at the top, and a lot of it being bought in the 90s because of dollar cost averaging once a week. So if we actually change this to weekly, we can kind of see it maybe a little easier, what the candles would have been. So this one, like I said, would have been December 1st, right around here. So that weekly closed out at around 100K. Then we're at 104, up in 100s. Everything basically above where we're at now is what the first couple of weeks or months would have been of buying that. So that would have, going through that, you'd be like, man, did I make a wrong decision? And then seeing this, you would be extremely upset because it just feels like the deck is stacked against you. But that's the awesome thing about dollar cost averaging, because even though it dropped tremendously here, that means I was buying Bitcoin at these prices. Like, you stayed convicted because your thesis hasn't changed. So I made the simulated transactions for $100 each week here as well. So now at this stage, the portfolio as a whole is only down 3.2%, whereas Bitcoin, if I had only been in Bitcoin, I'd be up 3.34%. So that's not bad. 3.15 showing here. So I believe this will, at this stage, continue to appreciate. We'll still have some corrections, but I do believe we're headed higher. We're going to retest that 100K range, 98 to 100K. And then by the end of second quarter, as I've been stating, we will be back well above all-time highs. previous all-time highs. And that means that I'll be in profits with this portfolio because there's also 30% in Solana and 10% in SUI. So that other 40%, those should pump as well. And that means I also got SUI on a discount and it was much, much higher as well. But that is the key to having a thesis and a strategy and just sticking with it and not gambling a bunch on altcoins or shit tokens or community projects or ROI dApps or anything else to that nature, because those, we have no idea how they will shape up. And that's what leads me to this portfolio that I created, because I bet on some of the stronger performing assets over the last 2 cycles, but this portfolio is down still in total. It should be, what is the total here? Yeah, down 22% in total, because there should be a total of $3,000 in here. There was 2 different $1,500 buys, and we have not rebounded from that yet at all. So I think I started it off, well, we can't go back. There we go. December 1st. Yeah, so here's where it started. December 1st with that portfolio. Everything went Gucci, and then it shit the bed, and I bought in again here when the portfolio value was down to 7,700. So it basically was cut in half by 50%. So I put in another 1,500, and yeah, we're still not doing too well on this. So that's the main TLDR I want to pass along, is that if you're gambling further out on the risk curve, yes, there's more potential for multiple X's, but you don't know how those tokens are going to shape up. And that's why I made this recent video here where I said the crypto money flow cycle is dead. And that's because I believe that this cycle is just going to be different, something we haven't seen before. I do still believe that money will flow into some of the alts and large caps, but not the way that we're familiar with it. Like, I believe, kind of like how most of you probably similar to me came along with your crypto Bitcoin blockchain journey, is like you hear about Bitcoin or maybe blockchain first. Blockchain would technically be the fundamental layer to Bitcoin, and then you hear about Bitcoin, then altcoins. But either way, that same understanding and flow is the same way that I feel that it's being adopted now globally. So like the narrative in other countries, along with even the US with the Bitcoin strategic reserve and then the crypto strategic stockpile, is pretty much that the stockpile assets can be sold and that Bitcoin is not to be sold. So it's clearly in its own bucket. So other countries are adopting this exact same strategy. I haven't seen other countries talking about stockpiling Solana or SUI or ETH or anything like that, or creating a reserve or mining it or anything to that nature. Everybody is on team Bitcoin. So maybe 10, 12 more years down the road, maybe even 4, I have no idea, maybe other alts get adopted globally as well. That's where the XRP army will come into play. They believe it's going to kind of revolutionize transactions across different currencies globally. But where we're at right now is that Bitcoin is the king of crypto. And that's why I feel like this cycle's more extended or changed or something fundamentally different than what it used to be. And that's why I'm kind of uncertain with alts. So I'm not going to be doing any more buying with the alts that I have. Like whatever I got, whatever X I can get out of that, that's it. And for me, then the rest of the gameplay is just stacking sats in Bitcoin. That's it. Because everything else is just too risky and too many unknowns, which require more adoption, more understanding for people to learn how the utility will work out, have to be battle tested, all these other things that come into play. And we've seen with pretty much every other alt out there, there's been some kind of exploit or vulnerability or something has happened, be it a rug pull internally or be it a hack in the code, something. Even Bitcoin had its fork wars initially, but it's long past that now. So that's why I'm just betting on Bitcoin, and it just seems to be the absolute safest bet in this. Has at least a long-term store of value and eventually possibly that fundamental monetary base layer. So TLDR for all of this is that so far, looking at this thesis almost 6 months in, is play out exactly as expected. Even with the volatility, still not down that much, and it would not take Bitcoin to pump that much more from here to be in profits on this strategy. So from what I can tell so far and what I'm forecasting into the future, 80-20 is definitely the way to go. Now, what I should have been curious or didn't get to test out, what I'm curious about is how ETH would perform in the portfolio. Because the idea from Raoul Pal is that you do Bitcoin and ETH or Bitcoin and Solana, and I want Solana to the spread out on the risk curve, because his logic is that it will outperform, Solana will outperform ETH, but ETH has been taking a beating. So I don't know what would happen if would have put that in the portfolio. Let's see. December. Let's go 1 year. Where is December? I guess it wasn't that bad from here. Oh yeah, you would have been buying the top in December as well. Almost, yeah, we got to 4,000. So it's corrected more than 50% at this stage. So yeah, I have no idea how that would perform. Did Solana correct that much? I'm just doing this in real time because didn't actually compare it myself. See if these are the same. December 1st. So that is here. Yeah, not quite bought the top. So it was at 237. Then it corrected. Now we're at 149. So 280. No, so it didn't go down the same 50% plus that ETH did. So yeah, maybe my portfolio was doing a little better because I had Solana in it. But I'm not a big ETH bull. Some people say that ETH is still going to come back this cycle. I'm just not a big fan of it. So anyway, let me know what you guys think. How is your portfolio? Are you dollar cost averaging? Like I mentioned before, I have 3x my DCA strategy into Bitcoin now in the last 2.5 months. And I'm going to try to up that even more cost savings, doing more work, levering up the business, things of that nature. Because I want to get more and more into Bitcoin. I forgot who said that, but it's like once you learn about Bitcoin, you realize you should have got in sooner. And then you're like, how can I get more of it, before it's too late, kind of thing. So that's where I'm at this stage. All right, smash that HBO special, help a brother out, like, subscribe, comment down below. And until next time, live daily and achieve your impossible. See ya.